Guys, I want us to quickly talk about Nnamdi Kanu. So, elder statesman Edward Clark has come out to tell Tinubu, let this man go. Just let Nnamdi Kanu go. If not for any other thing, so that the Southeast can experience some level of peace. We know what has been going on in the Southeast, and it's no longer looking funny because businesses are shrinking. We all know what is happening currently in Nigeria in terms of, the economy. Things are really rough in Nigeria, let alone in an environment where they will tell you, okay, today there won't be any market, tomorrow there won't be any market. Somebody spoke to me today, from Owerri. He was telling me that banks are not open, and it appears he even said tomorrow banks will not be opening. So you can imagine what kind of life are people in such an environment living, because somebody is being held somewhere. That's just why people can no longer freely do their businesses. There are some weeks, 2 days of those weeks will just be gone. You won't be able to transact any business. You will not even, some students will not even go to school. Okay, look at what happened recently during the Biafra Day celebration. Some students were writing WAEC. What happened? Some of them couldn't make it to the WAEC center because of the restriction that was put in place. And some of these restrictions are really coming because Nnamdi Kanu is still held back in the detention. If Tinubu had just let him go, I think he would have doused the tension. There's a whole lot going on in the Southeast, which is not supposed to be, which is not even in our own benefit. It's not for our own favor. And we're thinking that, okay, Buhari did this because he's a northerner and he cannot just come and, release Nnamdi Kanu. Let's see if Tinubu will do it. So people were like thinking, okay, the first thing Tinubu will do when he comes into power will just be to release Nnamdi, at least to douse the tension in the Southeast. But what are we seeing? We've seen Shore himself, who was also having these terrorism charges, on him, who was finally set free, has come out to say, oh, let Nnamdi Kanu go. And recently, we saw the Fulani Mieti Allah leader, who was equally charged with terrorism. He was let loose. He has been released from detention, and Nnamdi Kanu is the one that is being held. So Edward Clark, who is also one of the respected elder statesmen, has come out to tell Tinubu, let this man go. Just let him go, if not for any other thing, so that the Southeast can experience peace. There is no peace down there. I think things are supposed to get better had Nnamdi Kanu been released before now. We saw Cubana chief priest who came out to say, oh, why businesses are leaving the Southeast for Lagos is because of the insecurity in the Southeast. That's when he said he himself, he had to leave his businesses, down there, and he moved over to Lagos, an environment he feels will be safe for himself, will be safe for his children, will be safe for his entire family. He said that's why he left the Southeast. And one keeps wondering, when are all these things going to become a story? When are we going to see that the Southeast will start experiencing the peace for which we've been known for? We all know that, back then, people will tell you, if you really want to look for a very relaxing environment, you should either go to Enugu or you go to places like Owerri. These two places are in the Southeast. People will tell you, just these places are very calm. You can raise your children the way you want it. You can really plan your life, your future. But gone are those days. Today, we hear all kinds of things. If it's not that they are taking somebody into the bush, it is that the headsmen are, sacking community owners out of their environment and taking over ownership of those places. We are hearing all kinds of things happening in the Southeast. And I think it is really time for people to keep speaking up. I'm really happy with the headline, that Edward Clark has called on Tinubu to set Nnamdi Kanu free. I think Atiku Abubakar once spoke to in respect to that, telling Tinubu, just let this man go. Like Peter Obi equally said recently, he said EFCC is going after Bobrisky, while the main people who are the destroyers of Nigeria are being let go. The same thing in security aspect of it. You are holding somebody who can easily speak to the people in the southeast and they will listen. You are holding him in detention. What do you expect? You are just like inviting more anarchy in the southeast, because I believe Nnamdi Kanu has equally said if he should be released, it's just a matter of him to give that order. People believe in him. Take it or leave it. People believe in him. Once he says it, people are ready to stick to whatever instruction that comes from him. But the problem is he's still being held, despite the fact that court has even asked or given a charge or like give a ruling that he should be released. But still, he's still being held for reasons we cannot really explain. So I think it is really high time for, if not for any other thing, Tinubu now has not achieved anything since he came into power. He has spent 1 year, he has stepped into his second year. He has not achieved anything. I mean, the economy is down, security is down, everything is down in Nigeria. There is hunger, there is turmoil everywhere. If only Tinubu can just release Nnamdi Kanu, I think that can just enter or put his name in a good book. If that should just be one thing that his government will be remembered for. Because as it stands now, I'm just wondering, Tinubu has stepped into his second year. Their economy is getting worse. Insecurity in Nigeria is spiking by the day. And every other thing, go check the indices. Nothing is working in Nigeria. So at least if he can just release Nnamdi Kanu so that he can go home and speak to his people so that there will be peace. Don't forget that, other criminal elements have taken advantage of what is currently happening in the Southeast. And whatever is being done in the Southeast, they will just tell you, oh, it is the unknown gunmen, it is the ESN, it is the IPOB, it is the this, it is the that. It is not supposed to be. So people are taking advantage of the lapses. When you create a vacuum, anything can just come from anywhere and fill it up. And that is what we are experiencing, because this man has been held and nobody is there to give an order that the people will easily follow. Then a vacuum has been created. Guess what? People are coming from anywhere, causing all kind of carnage, and then they will link it up to people who are agitating for, secession, which is not supposed to be so. Look at what happened in Abia State. After the 5 policemen, the military men their lives were taken away from them. The military, as usual, they were provoked and they were just ready to come out to do whatever, their usual way of response. But Alex Oti took it upon him. He kept going to these men. He visited them, the military people. He kept talking to them that he doesn't want the innocent civilians to be victim of whatever their response or their responses were going to be. Alex Oti took it upon him to, he kept dousing, even though Alex Oti played his role as the governor. Guess what? The military still went ahead to arrest some people. And people were like, possibly they may have ended up picking up innocent people. I saw a lady on Twitter who was crying. She works in Lagos in Lut. Her mother works in Omaya. Her family is in Aba. And she said they came in and picked up her brother and her sister. She said her brother is 15 years old. You can imagine, 15 years old. So these are 2 young siblings being held. And she said her mother has gone to at least see them and know exactly where they were kept. And she wasn't given access. So you can imagine what innocent people are going through. Alex Oti equally pleaded with the military, please, release the innocent citizens and just allow proper investigation to be carried out. Guess what? These people, they don't these are military men. They don't even understand the language of doing things in order. Following due process. Once they feel okay, one of their person's life has been taken away, they are ready to bring down a community. They are ready to bring down a whole town. And that was what they were trying to do. But Alex Oti tried to douse the tension and tried to talk to them. But still, they still picked up some people, which I don't really think if they've even released them. So when you look at what is happening in the Southeast, I think it is really time for Tinubu to see the need for him to start, thinking, if at all it has not entered into his mind or his thought, to release Nnamdi Kanu. He should just release this man so that the Southeast, if Tinubu can release Mieti Allah leader, Nigerians, and he's still holding Nnamdi Kanu, then there is a question mark somewhere. We all know the Mieti Allah leader. This is somebody, we all know that Mieti Allah has come out at different times to tell you, oh, yes, we are responsible for this killing or whatever because they destroyed our cows, they took away the life of our cows, we decided to take away the lives of people. We saw the carnage that these people did in places like Benue and across Nigeria, not just in the north or in the middle belt. We've seen, look at what they did in Plateau. Today, they are still walking freely with their cows. Nobody is being arrested. Okay, the Zamfara governor came out to say that they arrested bandits. They handed them over to security agents. And then the governor was complaining that the same day, this was happening towards the weekend, this last weekend, that he just heard that these bandits have been bailed. They've been bailed. I mean, they've been released. Even the governor himself was very shocked. That's to tell you the kind of country. Sure, this country, oh my God, this country, things are not done fairly. Things are not done fairly in Nigeria. Let's be realistic. Let's call a spade a spade. Things are not being done fairly. And that is why people are agitating. If not, living together as Nigerians will be the best for us. But people are feeling marginalized. You are seeing it happening in your own eyes. Okay, the Mieti Allah leader, who is a leader of a group that has also been, proscribed as terrorist group. Now he set up his own security outfit. He was arrested. Before you know it, he has been released. And then they are telling you, release Nnamdi Kanu, whose own offense is he wants a separation. He wants that secession to happen. Biafra should be let to be on their own. That's just his own crime. That's what he's asking for. But you see that they've turned it into another thing. So guys, I don't know what you make of all this that is happening in Nigeria. Edward Clark has really done well, as an elder statesman, to come out to tell Tinubu, just let this man go. Just let him go. So the other day, Attorney General of the Federation was talking. So a journalist asked him, why is it that Oshowore was let go and Nnamdi Kanu was still held back? So he said he does not even know who is Showore. Neither does he know who is Nnamdi Kanu. He has compared the two files. Showore's own is on a lighter note, but Nnamdi Kanu's own is not on a lighter note. And that is why he's still. So when you look at the whole thing, it's a bit complicated. And you just know that there's all politics, behind all this. A lawyer has come out to say, oh, they are just using it to make the Southeast to appear, to appear to be more of a terrorized environment, so that businesses will not be looking towards that direction. And then when you talk of politics, people will not say, oh, let's vote for Peter Obi. They will tell you, oh, his region is in turmoil. There are a whole lot of, will I call it postulation, because you cannot really say this is what the facts are. But I think for me, it is high time they really listen to what this elder statesman is saying. He has called on Tinubu, tell your AGF, that is Attorney General of the Federation, tell him to release Nnamdi Kanu, because he is the one now. Remember, it was Malami who was the AGF under Buhari that was responsible for all this. Now it has now landed on the table of Tinubu's AGF. So elder statesman Edward Clark is saying, just let Nnamdi Kanu go. Let him go so that the Southeast can know some level of peace. You can imagine that people are saying that, oh, if you are a wealthy man and you travel home, you will not have your life again with all sort of things, even things that are not happening. For the fact that this agitation is happening and people say they want to secede, a whole lot of speculations, a whole lot of lies, a whole lot of things are being said. So for the federal government to bring an end to all this, they should just let Nnamdi Kanu to go. Honestly, I think for me, I'm just like in support of what Edward Clark is saying. Let him go. After all, it is not even a crime for one to say we want to go, we want to secede from Nigeria. It's not a crime. These things are done across the world. When you go to Spain, you see there is a particular group there that are saying, oh, we don't want to be part of Spain. It is just a normal thing. Even in Britain, there are people who tell you they don't want to be a part of these people. Separate us. See, it is all over the world. Okay, somebody said why Finland is even shielding Simon Ekpa. It's because Finland once went through this process of let us be on our own. It was a fight before they finally gained their independence. So they understand what it means. If you are talking about seceding, Finland understands it because they've gone through it. So sometimes when people are saying all kinds of things, you can see the government of Finland, they ignore all those, people who are saying, oh, Finland is protecting Simon Ekpa and other. They ignore it because they've gone through it. They were not on their own before now, but they fought. It was not a light battle. They fought and they gained that independence. And today they are on their own. So they understand that this fight doesn't usually come light. It is something you will fight to finish for you to gain your independence. So when people are saying, oh, why is Finland shielding Simon Ekpa? Finland understands what secession is all about. Gaining your independence is all about. They understand it. So it's not even something they was okay, just take him, because they know that it comes with a whole lot of struggle and a whole lot of fighting. And that is what we are seeing today in the Southeast. So for me, honestly, I would just say that Tinubu, if not, even if you don't achieve any other thing in this administration, because from the look of things, I don't even know what this government is going to achieve. The naira keep falling, the economy is down, inflation is up, unemployment is up, everything. Look at insecurity. It's everywhere, Nigerians. Insecurity. This one now, last time it was a kind of press conference that the police held. They were interrogating Nigerians, people from Niger that come into Nigeria, and they have a way to access people's registered SIM cards. So you can imagine. And you know what that means? If they have access to your registered SIM card, they can easily gain access to some private information that you don't want to make public. So these people were arrested. You can imagine everywhere is just on fire because we have the wrong leadership. But even if Tinubu will not give Nigerians any other kind of benefits of the democracy, and he just releases Nnamdi Kanu so that the Southeast can, know some level of peace, the tension there will be doused. I think that would be a very welcome development. I don't know what your takes are, but for me, I think that is what this government should be looking into. Don't just hold Nnamdi Kanu. What's the essence? You are wasting the resources Nigeria doesn't have. Any day you are going to court, you tell us you spend this amount of money, and we can't even see what the money were being spent on, and you just keep doing it and going round the cycle without achieving anything. Coming to court, and then they tell you they adjourn it. Coming to court again, they tell you the trial will come up again. Coming to court, there are days they will tell you they don't have vehicle to bring him to court. They don't have this, and all those stories. And you just find out that these people, It is just lack of thinking that is making us to just keep going circle. And I just hope that it will down on them that keeping Nnamdi Kanu is not helping Nigeria. It's not even giving us a good name out there, because people are seeing what is happening. What's the essence of democracy if you won't allow people to express themselves, to tell you, okay, I don't want to be part of you, I want to be on my own? There is no crime to that. After all, he said he wants referendum. Don't be surprised that referendum might happen, and it will appear that it will happen that many of the Southeasterners will say, okay, we want to still belong to Nigeria. And then what happens? The journey continues. So just allow him to go. If he says he wants referendum, let it happen. If the majority wins the vote, yeah, let it be. But if the majority say we still want to belong to Nigeria, then let it be. But let things be done. They just complicate issues, because I don't even see why we just have to keep talking about Nnamdi Kanu, as if it's a very big thing. People are still agitating in other parts of the world, and we don't hear them being held in detention or being tortured or being manhandled in any form. Why is it that of Nigeria is so different? When you go to the South, is to be sincere, there is no presence of the federal government in the Southeast. There, apart from the second Niger bridge, which we know they like to use it in plain politics, especially the APC. There is no presence. Go and look at the schools that were built then, like the UNN and other schools that were built there. It's as if the federal government have just declared them abandoned projects. There is no presence of the federal government. The roads are not built. Schools are not well managed. And when you have states like Imo State and all those states managed by the APC-led government, you know what that means? They don't care for the people. It's only Alex Otti now that is, standing up to some of the challenges that the Southeast has been known for, trying to address that of Abia State. Alex Otti is doing marvelously well. And that is why we are just like asking other governors to please copy his template. Look up to him, see what he's doing. How is he even able to get these funds? Even if he's borrowing it, where is he borrowing all these funds from? Because we are seeing what he's doing with it. Let him keep borrowing, provided we are seeing the result. What's the essence of borrowing if it's not for you to use it to implement so that people can benefit from it? That's just the essence of borrowing. And Alex Otti is doing that, and we are seeing it, because there was a time people were saying, "No, Alex Otti has borrowed. He has borrowed this." I replied a particular tweet. I said, "Alex, keep borrowing, provided we are seeing what you are doing with the money." Peter Obi would always tell you that there is no government in this world that doesn't borrow. But when you borrow to eat, to consume, that is where the problem is. But if you are borrowing that you want to invest in the lives of your people, Alex Otti's budget, education, health, these two are leading in his 2024 budget that was passed recently. So if he has the people in mind, now he renovated the teaching hospital and brought it to a higher standard. What else are we looking for? He has commissioned several roads in that state. These are roads that have been abandoned, some of them 30 years back. Since then, these roads have been there. It's not as if they don't have the resources or they didn't see where to go and borrow. Some of them borrowed. They told us they were going to build airports, which they didn't build. But Alex Otti is getting that money, whether he's getting it from the federal government or he's borrowing it from somewhere, provided we are seeing it and the people of Abia are seeing it. These are the things we want in the South. It seems the federal government is not helping out. Okay, look at Tinubu now. He's already into his second year. Is there any plan for the Southeast? Have you heard of anything the federal government is planning to do for the Southeast? There is nothing on the table at the moment. So before you know it, before the end of this second year, we'll start talking about 2027 presidential election. Before you know it, he's out of office. 4 years is gone. So it is time for the Southeastern governors to start working for the people. They should do things that will outlive them, as in things that people will still come to say, oh, Then, years back, this person built this because they build it solidly. These things will last long and people will be happy and they'll be remembered for it. So I think that's just my own take. I don't know what you make of all this, but for me, I'm just trying to like air my own view that the federal government should see they need to release Nnamdi Kanu because the cause that he's pursuing is not really bad because he's asking for freedom. Since the federal government cannot help the Southeasterners, they don't want to carry us along. Check in politics. Tinubu has come now. It's mostly his people that are there in all key positions. Key positions. You hardly see the Igbos who will not see this and condemn it, who will not condemn this kind of leadership. When Buhari came, it was northerners everywhere. And people were like thinking, okay, let the presidency come to the south so that things will be balanced. Now it has come to the south. Tinubu has just put it, just within himself and his circle, those that work with him, just, that kind of a thing. So a Southeasterner keep asking, am I even a part of this country? That's the question people are asking, and that is what is bringing up this issue of agitation. When you do things the right way, even in your own family, if you don't carry all your children along, you think they don't have sense. They are watching you. One day they will confront you and ask you, even if they will ask you whether they are really your own biological child, and you get to answer that question. So that is just what we are seeing currently in the Southeast, and I think people should not be condemning this agitation. It is never wrong to agitate. Nevertheless, we are not in support of criminal elements who are taking advantage of the vacuum that has been created to cause carnage in the Southeast. We are not in support of that, because if we say we want to help the Southeasterners and then we are still killing ourselves, what's the essence? We are agitating that we want to succeed, and then you are still killing your own people. What's the essence of the agitation? So we have to rather be our brother's keeper, help ourselves. If you have, give to your brother, protect your brother. If you see something evil that is about to befall your brother, you have to let him know this way you are taking is wrong. We shouldn't be our brother's enemies. We should be together, one mind, and have the same focus, the same goal. We just believe that Tinubu, God will use him to release Nnamdi Kanu. Since many people are now airing their voices, telling him to look into this issue and let this man go instead of bringing him to court every day, taking him back to DSS detention. That is not going to help the Nigerian state. Rather, letting him go is going to really help things to get better, especially in the Southeast, where we know so many of our parents who have little business. They can't go to market on like Mondays. Everywhere is on a lockdown, and sometimes 2 days people have not gone to their places of businesses. Banks will not open. So you can imagine who will be thinking of bringing his investment. Like, we have many Southeasterners who are living outside the country. How would you want them to boldly bring their investment home when they know that every week, 1 or 2 days of the week, businesses will not work in the Southeast? How do you expect them to boldly say, okay, let me go and invest? Because that is also another way that the Southeast can really revive itself. We have a whole lot of people who are outside and who have made real good money, but the environment is not even conducive for them to visit home, for them to bring down their investment and say, okay, I want to build a hotel here. I want to build a restaurant here. I want to build a swimming environment. There are so many things that people can just come home and build without much stress, and that will make the Southeast to become another unique environment. So let's encourage ourselves and call for peace. Let there be no problem of, somebody's life is taken away here and all that, so that the Southeast can know some level of peace. And we also hope that Tinubu will reason with Edward Clark and see reasons why Nnamdi Kanu should be let go, because the Southeast cannot keep suffering the way it has suffered all this while. So guys, I'm going to be ending this live session at this moment. I want to really thank you for being a part of this moment. And I hope that we are still going to meet again some other time. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Bye.